the second Sustainable Energy Conference, successfully hosted by our agency KENGEN, Nation Media Group, and other partners. This is about sustainable energy for economic development. You do know very well that energy is a key source of economic development. I do usually say that there is no energy-rich country that is income poor. In other words, what are we saying? We are saying as we increase our energy consumption, as we increase our energy generation, as we increase our energy distribution, so do we improve the human capital development and improve the per capita income. So these are very good conversations that we are having at a time where the country has seen increased demand for power. We are now standing at 2,392 megawatts. When I usually tell people 2 years ago, the highest country peak that we had was 2,149. So we are seeing an average of 110, 120 megawatts increase in demand year on year. And so therefore, as our lead generator, KENGEN must be on the forefront in having such conferences where we get innovative ideas about sustainable financing, innovative financing, because you know very well that we have a constrained headroom in terms of borrowing. Yes, in terms of power development, previously we have had government on lent loan where government goes, borrows, and the KENGEN develops. But that headroom is constrained right now, and but the power demand is still increasing, and so therefore we must have a conversation on how do we fund energy projects amidst the fact that we have a constrained headroom, and that is where PPP development comes in, where we bring on board private players who are looking at the costs so that we remain competitive as we generate, as we transmit, and as we distribute. So basically today is just that day where we are celebrating and also bringing on board Kenyans to bring innovative ideas on green hydrogen, innovative financing, how do you develop more power. We have GDC, we have Menengai that we are having geothermal, we have Paka in Silali. We are hoping we can have KENGEN get at least the first opportunity to develop 1 or 2 power stations generation, because we already have about 87 megawatts worth of steam in Paka. So that is basically the reason why we are here in terms of sustainable energy for development and growth.
Bona PS, we only have 5 years before we hit our 2030 target of 100% transition on renewable energy. So in terms of percentage, where are we, and what amount is looking at us so that we can be full-fledged green energy country?
We are already at 93% in terms of renewable energy generation. We have technologies that we are going to deploy very fast. Now we do have battery energy storage. We are looking to bring on board more battery energy storage so that we can be able to preserve more power in our geothermal wells. You know very well Kenya is a unique country where you hit a peak demand and within 3-4 hours as the country goes to sleep, the power demand drops by close to 1,000 megawatts. So we want to bring on board technology to store that power so that we can be able to dispatch it during our peak demand. That is 1. 2, we're also looking at transition fuels, for example LNG, that we can use in the interim as a transition fuel, bring on board LNG power plants so that we transition. So we are on course. I can tell Kenyans that we are on course with those 2 innovative mechanisms, and of course increasing the transmission lines so that as we increase the generation, we are able to evacuate that power to the load center. So we are on course.
So giving Kenyans hope, we will not be generating on diesel energy. So as we do this, we are going to eliminate fully other usage like the diesel. So we are going to see a radical drop in our bills in the houses. So what are we looking at as Kenyans?
Well, when that time comes, as we reduce power generation using diesel, so does it help in terms of reducing our power costs. So the transition is a very good thing, because as we transit from and we reduce using diesel power, then we are able to help and transfer that benefit to the consumers. So yes, you are right that the more we reduce the diesel power generated, the more better it is for Kenya. So for KENGEN and GDC nuclear power, the onus is on them to ensure, and us as government, as policy makers, to give the right impetus and environment so that they can be able to bring on board more renewable energy sources into the grid. Access, we are at 78% as at now. In the last 3 years of President Ruto's administration, we have been able to connect in excess of 1.2 million Kenyans. We do have enough funds that we are going to connect another 1 million Kenyans between now and December 2026. That now will leave us with about 4.8 million Kenyans that we need to work on, and those we should be able to work on between 2027, 28, 29 and 2030, when we hope to have 100% access to electricity.
What appears you have talked about creating another evacuation line.
Yes.
From here,
yeah.
Nairobi. Can you share more details about that? You have also talked about the high Grand Fort dams.
You do very well know that, and I mentioned that we have a serious constraint in terms of the line between here and Isinya. No, here and Nairobi North line that is currently carrying about 55% of the power that is needed in Nairobi. It has reached its limit, and so therefore one of the immediate measures we want to do is to reconductor it, use a conductor that can carry slightly more power than the current conductor. That is one of the measures that we are putting in place. The second measure that we are putting in place, you do very well know that we wanted that line between Gilgil, Thika, Malaa, Konza to be done by Adani, but it was not possible. So we are trying to source for alternative financing so that we urgently undertake the construction of that line. It's a very critical line that needs to be done to give an alternative evacuation route to the load center of Nairobi, and most important, create what we call the N-1, that is the redundancy from here, which is our main generation center. And you know very well that power concentrates around this region. The power from Orangarani comes to Suswa, the power from Ethiopia comes to Suswa, and the power from here still goes to Suswa. So we need to create an urgent alternative evacuation route.
So about the Grand High Force? The
High Grand Force Dam, yes. We are also in high-level discussions. We are at the tail end right now, where we want to bring on board KENGEN as a country's generator with a private party. We can bring on board. We try and see how is it that as Kenyans we can be able to finance the land acquisition cost, because that is the main issue with the High Grand Force Dam, land acquisition. So that we leave the SPV, KENGEN and alternative financing to do the dam itself and generate power. So we are at the tail end. We are looking at the numbers, and so far the numbers are okay. I don't want to reveal them. They are okay, but we still want to push them slightly lower so that we can bring more on board, because High Grand Force Dam is a very critical dam for our energy system. It gives us what we call the system inertia. What does that mean? It means that this is a dam that will be able to give us 700 megawatts at a go. It is very easy to deploy a hydropower dam. And so therefore, those days when we have, say, wind output that has drastically dropped, these are power plant, you know very well, for example, Loyangalani is 300 megawatts, Kipeto is another 100 megawatts. So should we have sudden generation shortfall, even from Ethiopia, for example, we need a power plant that can easily fill in the gap. And that is why, as Kenyans, we must bring on board urgently a High Grand Force Dam. It is to our essential. Of course, it is 700 megawatts is not a small feature. It's going to be the fourth largest dam in Eastern. That largest dam is in Eastern Africa. JAD, the Ethiopian dam, being the first, the biggest. Julius Nyerere, Tanzanians just built Julius Nyerere at 2,000 megawatts, 2,200. Then us will be at 700. Then, of course, Kaluma Dam in Uganda at 600. And right now, Kaluma is at 400 megawatts already dispatching. So we are running short of time. We do need that power plant. And that is why we are putting up a high-level team to finalize how do we develop the High Grand Falls Dam. But I want to tell Kenyans, yes, we have a robust team, we have a good team, and the future is very bright.
This conference brings together the generators, distributors, innovators, financials together, so that they're able to find flexible ways and convenient ways where we can get more power to the communities and the people, and also at a lower price. We want to hope that by the end of this conference, each participant who comes from here goes home with something. It's a continental conference, and we are also looking at cost-cutting issues like the PS has said. How do we resolve them? Like issues of transmission, the PS has talked about it. They're coming up, cost-cutting issues. How do we solve them so that the power reaches the people when it is required? Like in KENGEN, we have issues of evacuation. We can generate power, but we are unable to get to the right places it's about to be. Those are the issues we want to solve. We also want to get into financing that is flexible and cheap, cost-effective, so that when we bring up the power stations, the generate the power, we bring at a cost, as the PS has said, that is below 7 US cents, so that we are able to within the international standards. So we want to welcome you. We want you to participate, contribute positively, and hopefully by the end of the day, we come out with something that is positive. As I've said, that we also with us here in KENGEN, we are the major geothermal generators. We also want to export to Africa. They want them to come and see what is here, and hopefully when the day comes for you to move around and sort it, what we do here in geothermal, so that they can also come. We can also go there and try to help them also to explore the geothermal. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Engineer Peter Njenga. I must say that we are very excited today to be the co-hosts between ourselves, KENGEN, and Nation Media Group, to host this very important conference on sustainable energy. I want to confirm to you that KENGEN is really working hard. And as you heard what I said in the hall, that we are aiming at adding another 1,500 megawatts, and that will be 100% renewable energy. And I'm happy our PS has actually, confirmed that he's also going to give us an extra, responsibility to, develop the High Grand Falls, another about 700 megawatts. So for us, being the main generator of electricity in this country, we want to actually participate in this conference, learn from all the other people who have come in, from their experts, and be able to now progress the agenda of ensuring that we transition to full renewable energy by the year 2030. So for us, we are very, very keen to pursue. And one of the things we are going to look for in this conference is really the innovative ways of financing. That 1,500 megawatts of additional renewable energy is going to cost us $4.3 billion. That is not little money, and therefore we are looking forward to those interested partners who would want to join us and perhaps form special purpose vehicles and utilize the PPP model to be able to finance these projects. One of my beliefs as one of the leaders in this energy sector is that if we have extra energy, electricity energy, it will attract other investors and our economy will grow. Anybody who is serious and who wants to set up a huge power, manufacturing plant or whatever they want to put in, the first question, as I know, is how much power is available for us. So, and I think that's why some of our neighbors have gone ahead and developed extra additional power before they even get to the demand. So that is the route we want to pursue and ensure that we have extra power to attract those investors. So we are happy to engage all the people who have come and ensure that we leave this place with information and perhaps even get advice on how we can change our policies to be able to develop this renewable energy as it is expected. Okay, you've heard our PS say that discussions are still ongoing, and therefore we cannot be able to firm up the timelines. But if you look at developing a hydropower plant, it will take between 5 to 7 years. So you can imagine when we are able to conclude the discussions and perhaps firm up the issue of financing, it will take us quite some time. So it's not a project that we expect very soon, but we are looking at into the future. And that's why we already have other smaller projects that are coming on board to make up for the deficiency in energy requirements in this country as we wait for those mega projects. I think we need to recognize that the discussions that we are having today and the conversations that we are having, especially with the financiers, is we must always look at the costs. And the good thing is technology is changing. We are having more efficient technologies, even in generation. For example, we have put down our very old geothermal power plant, Olkaria 1, and we are rebuilding it. And the cost of rebuilding, of course, is enormous. But when you look at the final cost of electricity that we are going to sell to Kenya Power, is lower than what it was before. In fact, for your information, the original Olkaria 1 was for 5 megawatts. The one we are putting up using the same steam is going to produce 63 megawatts. So you can already see that that cost is going to come lower. So we are negotiating, we are looking at those innovative financing options that will at the end of the day ensure that the cost to the consumer is reduced.
Of the German embassy. Germany and Kenya have a very long tradition of cooperation that goes back to the first year of statehood of Kenya in 1963, and for quite a long time we have also collaborated in the energy sector. Since 2022 we actually have an energy and climate partnership with Kenya, so our focus in the bilateral relation is really on climate and energy, and we try to bring Kenya forward, because we think that only if we have those alliances, if we have those partnerships with strong partners in the world, we can cope with climate crisis. We have capacity building, and we have also financing. Currently 450 million euros, that is about 75 billion shillings, have been invested by Germany into the energy sector in Kenya. Our main partner is KENGEN actually, and of course the Kenyan government, and this has contributed to 450 megawatt of electricity that is additionally generated in this country. And we really acknowledge that Kenya is a forerunner when it comes to renewable energies. The climate mix is 93%, the energy mix is 93% renewables here in the country, in the electricity grid. In Germany we have come from a very low, bit over 20% to 58%. So we also look at Kenya as a role model for renewable energies. Well, on the COP, was it 26 or 27, a mechanism has been installed to generate every year 100 billion US dollars by the global north, those who are the most emitting countries, actually to support those who have who suffer from climate change most. So we have actually done a lot. There is a mechanism that will continue, and last year we have also agreed at the COP that this mechanism is actually going to be dynamic, so there will be even more money raised in the future for coping with damage that has been caused by climate change. So we are committed to that. We have fulfilled our part in that agreement, and we stand to it also with our new government that we have in Germany since May this year.